Hey everyone, and welcome. If you sell anything online, even just a little bit, you absolutely need to hear this. There's been a huge shift in the tax rules, and the experts at ProTax Accountant have asked us to break down what it all means for you and your side hustle. So, let's get right to it. So, you sell on eBay, Etsy, maybe you're clearing out your closet on Vinted? Perfect, you're in the right place. There's a lot of chatter about HMRC, the tax man, suddenly taking a much closer look. But what's really happening? We're going to cut through the noise and give you exactly what you need to know.
All right, so here's the big deal. As of January 1st, 2024, everything changed. Online marketplaces like eBay, Vinted, Etsy, they all now have to legally gather information about their sellers and report it straight to HMRC. There's no hiding anymore.
Now let's be really clear about something. This is not a new side hustle tax. The tax laws themselves, they haven't changed at all. What has changed is enforcement. Think of it like this. HMRC now has a direct digital window into your sales. It makes it super easy for them to see exactly who is earning what online.
So you might be wondering, when do I get reported? Well, there are two triggers, and you only need to hit one of them. The first one is all about volume. If you make 30 or more sales in a single year, boom, your data gets sent over. It doesn't matter if you sold each item for £1, 30 is the magic number.
The second trigger isn't about how many things you sell, but how much you make. If you earn more than £1,740, which is roughly €2,000, your details are also getting reported. And remember, it's not both, it's one or the other. Hit either of those, and HMRC will know about it.
Okay, but just because you're reported doesn't automatically mean you owe a penny in tax. It all boils down to one absolutely critical question. And honestly, this is where most people get confused. Are you a trader running a business, or are you just decluttering your house?
So, what's the difference? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. Decluttering is when you sell your own personal stuff, things you've used and no longer want. Usually you sell it for less than you bought it for. In that case, there's generally no tax to pay. Trading, on the other hand, is when you buy or make things specifically to sell them for a profit. That's a business, and that income can definitely be taxable.
And this is why it's so important to know the difference. Let's take Siona's story. She was selling her old clothes, which is fine, but she was also buying things from charity shops to flip for a profit. The problem? Vinted just reports one big number to HMRC. They don't separate personal sales from business sales. It all looks like income. And that's a classic trap.
But listen, it's not all doom and gloom, especially if you're just starting out or your side hustle is pretty small. The government has a really helpful tool called the trading allowance, and for a lot of people, this is a total game changer.
So what is this allowance? Well, think of it as a tax-free buffer. It lets you earn up to £1,000 a year from your trading activities without having to tell HMRC or pay any tax on it. And here's a key detail. That's your gross income, the total amount of money you get from sales before eBay or Etsy takes their fees.
Alad's situation shows this perfectly. In his first year selling old records, he made £800. That's safely under the £1,000 allowance, so he didn't need to do a thing. But the next year, his little business took off, and he made £2,500. At that point, he's crossed the threshold, and now he has to register for self-assessment with HMRC.
So how do you make sure you get this all right and stay out of trouble? Don't worry, we've put together a really simple checklist you can follow to keep everything above board.
Okay, here's your plan. The first 3 steps are really about knowing your numbers. Track everything, be honest with yourself about whether you're trading, and keep a close eye on that £1,000 allowance. Step 4 is about a whole different tax we'll touch on in a second. And the last 2? These are just crucial habits. Always keep good records, and if you get a letter from HMRC, never, ever ignore it.
Knowing the right steps is one thing, but knowing the common mistakes people make is just as important. Let's look at a classic pitfall that catches so many people out.
David's story is a really good warning. He sold a vintage motorbike and made a huge profit. He thought, great, it's a personal item, so it's tax-free. Wrong. The sheer size of the sale and the profit he made put him into a completely different tax category, capital gains tax. Don't let the name capital gains tax scare you. It usually only applies to high-value personal things, not your everyday Etsy sales. You just need to remember 2 numbers. If you sell a single item for more than £6,000 and you make a profit of more than £3,000 on it, you might owe some tax.
And finally,
Please, please do not get caught out by deadlines. If you realize you do need to file a tax return, you have to register with HMRC by October 5th. The big one for filing online and paying up is January 31st. Miss these, and you're looking at an automatic £100 penalty right off the bat. So put them in your calendar now.
Okay, we've covered a lot. We've talked about the new reporting rules, the key numbers to remember, and the big mistakes to avoid. So let's pull all this together and figure out what you should do next.
If your head is spinning a little bit, trust me, that is completely normal. Tax is complicated, and these new rules just add another layer to it. But the most important thing is to get ahead of it now, rather than waiting for that brown envelope from HMRC to land on your doormat. The good news is, you really don't have to figure all this out by yourself. For professional advice that's tailored to exactly what you're doing, you can reach out to the team at Pro Tax Accountant. They specialize in this stuff and can make sure you're doing everything right and, crucially, only paying the tax you actually owe.
So we'll leave you with this one question to think about. Now that the marketplaces are reporting everything, is your side hustle ready for the taxman? Because being proactive today could save you a world of headache and money tomorrow.